Hi and welcome to another episode of Top Bolts, and today we're looking at the Renault Alpine, the A310, first released in 1973 under the reference code of C028. I believe it was the 14th edition catalogue that this was in. They were made in France and I believe imported over for roughly a year during 1973. A lovely put together model. Once again, it was during that sort of period where they were simplifying the cars without the bottom chassis, so they were attaching the motors and everything to the body shell above on this sort of inner cockpit, you could say, that housed the driver and the fixing points for the motor. These motors are fixed in by 3 points, so one at the front and one either side at the back. This is the Raymond motor, which during this time period was like 1973, 72, 74, was used quite a lot really, as well as the guide up here, which has the brass nut that holds the guides on, with the two brass tabs which make contact via the braids on the back. So it's always good practice just to turn the guides to the side and have a look at the braid condition at the top here, and you can do that quite easily just by turning, and you can see there where it makes contact with the brass. If I turn it like that actually, so you can see it better, just there you got these brass tabs and they make contact just like by running straight onto those brass tabs. Sometimes you can tighten this nut up inside just to give this a little bit more friction. This actually feels quite good. I don't think it was that long ago when I serviced this one. The only thing it probably needs is a tiny bit of oil just down right on the center spine of the motor is where I tend to like to put it, and it kind of travels down, and maybe on these ones just a little bit either side on the rear axle, which we could probably do today actually. But other than that, this car's in pretty clean condition. On a previous video I've pointed out where the brushes, they go into the side here, held down by a retaining spring either side. Bit of helpful advice is the spring that comes off the brush is held in by this little tab here. You can bend this tab up, so you just place your tool underneath, bend that tab up, and then you can pull the spring out, clean your brushes, put them back, and then push this tab back down into place. So I'll just push that back. As I found working on a previous car, that it was actually quite difficult to get that spring out without bending that tab. You don't have to bend it very far at all, but other than that, it's actually a nice car to work on. To release the motor, just place your thumb down on the inner chassis and twist to the side, and you can then press it on the other side and twist to that side, and then it pulls off the front. So fairly easy to gain access to really, which allows you then to gain easy access to the brushes on the side here, which you may be able to see it easier now. That tab there is the tab that you want to bend, just to relieve this spring just there. Okay, so I'll just place that motor back. So place the front in first and then press the two backs. Once again, just aligning your fingers up with those fixing points and then just press them gently. Perfect. And on this, it's very easy to miss, but it's two grooves just in the body there. Those two grooves are for the wires, so you can place the wires into those grooves and they hold the wires steady, stopping it getting caught up in any of the mechanisms. You could just place it in with your nail so it finds a decent seating. Just bring that one over. And quite often you find that this bit's actually missed and the wires don't get pressed in, and as you can see, that holds it all away from the guides and from that front axle. Perfect. So we'll run this motor up, just make sure it's operating as it should, just make sure there isn't any works needed to any of this. So let's drop a tiny bit of oil just in front of that cog. So I just place it down there on the spine of the motor, tiniest little drop. You really don't need a lot with these, and a little bit there and a bit more there. And we just let that travel down. And you really don't need to put a lot of oil in these at all. And if you do it regularly after each use, it helps maintain the motor as well, and stops any sort of build up of corrosion around this rear axle. Even though these axles are probably a high carbon steel, they can still corrode. Okay, let's run this up. Okay, so we start with the volts low and then just slowly increase. Just going to lift the rear wheels a little bit and just bring that in so the motor's moving very slowly. This may need a little bit more running in. Increase the volts a little bit. There you go, it's freed itself. And now I just increase. That's perfect. Okay, well, thank you for watching my video. I hope you've enjoyed the content. As always, any helpful tips you have on this car, please leave a comment in the comment section. I'll try my best to get back to you, but any advice is always very, very welcome. Well, thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the next one.